Hello, my name is Mrs. Buttles. I am the College Career Counselor at Batavia High School, and today I'll be presenting Choosing Your College Major on behalf of Batavia High School Counseling and Advising. Through this presentation, we'll talk about what is a college major and what all does that entail. We'll talk about when students pick their college major and how they decide. We'll provide an opportunity for students to reflect on what should go into selecting a college major and provide resources to determine what students should major in and additional resources for further exploration. So what is a college major? Well, this is something that students take classes in, and it shows an area of expertise and that they specialize in. Sometimes a college major is going to influence what types of careers a student can apply for. And sometimes it's more general and just provides an overall experience related to that area. So for example, I studied psychology, that's what I majored in, and I did decide to continue on and pursue counseling as my master's degree. One of my friends majored in psychology, and now she works as a real estate agent. Sometimes your major, if you want to become a nurse, for example, you do need to major in something specific, and other times it's just more general and it's what you're interested in. So it really kind of depends, but it does show that you have a specialization in that area. So when a student pursues a college major through a four-year college or university, about 1/3 to a half of their classwork will be related to their college major. Each class is typically 3 credit hours, so a student typically takes 40 classes to earn their bachelor's degree at a four-year college or university. Like I said, about 1/3 to a half of those are related to your college major. On average, about 12 classes or 36 credit hours. And this is how much of their coursework will be related to their college major. A student might also consider minoring, which takes up less of their courses, and this is about 18 to 21 credit hours or 6 or 7 classes. If a student has multiple interests, they could consider double majoring, and this would be an opportunity to explore 2 different types of things that they're interested in. They might be related and have some crossover, or they could be totally different. A student might want to study psychology and sociology, which are pretty similar in nature, or a student might want to study theater and biology. So they can be related or unrelated just based on what a student is interested in. It can be tricky if some majors, which are more tracked, such as nursing or engineering or education, where you take certain classes in a certain order, it can be more difficult to double major. When you're trying to figure out which four-year colleges are a good fit, this is something to ask the college admissions professionals if double majoring is possible based on a student's interests. If a student has 2 interests and a double major doesn't work out, which is pretty rare that students do double major, they could also consider majoring in one item or in one area and then minoring in another. I minored in Spanish, which did help me with my interest in psychology and talking with people and being able to communicate in another language. Typically, like I said, 6 or 7 classes to minor, so it still shows you're an expert, but you're not taking quite as many courses. So this is one thing to consider if you have multiple interests. Here are some examples of classes we offer at Batavia High School and how they could relate to selecting a college major. So for example, if you've taken creative writing or journalism and you love those courses, know that there is a major in journalism that you could study at a four-year college. Similarly, if you've enjoyed child development or childcare lab, perhaps pursuing a major in early childhood education would be a good fit for you. So just some things to think about in discovering which classes you've taken here at the high school, and if you really enjoyed them, they might relate to a college major. And if you need help trying to figure that out, your school counselors are here for that. So one question students often ask me is, how do I know what I should major in? First and foremost, if you have ideas of careers you're considering, we should try to plan backwards in determining which careers, what college majors are best going to support those. So if you have careers in mind, I would start there. Further, just thinking about who you are as a person. What are you interested in? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What do you like doing? What classes have you taken that you've enjoyed? If you have strengths in certain academic areas, that could lead itself to certain college majors. And then just your personality as a whole. For students, I'd encourage you to talk with your parents, guardians, trusted adults, school counselors, or myself in trying to connect all of these, and then also exploring some of the resources and assessments that I'll share later in this presentation. So students often ask, when do I decide or declare my major? There's 2 different timelines here. One is oftentimes on a student's college application while they're a senior, it'll ask what they want to major in, and they'll mark right on there. And then when a student is getting their letter from their school, if they're accepted, they'll tell them if they were accepted into that major or not. In some more competitive programs, such as engineering, a college might also ask for a second choice major. So depending on how committed a student is to that major, they might not want a second choice major if they know that that's what they want to study. Another example would be, or another time that students commonly declare their major is at the end of their sophomore year. This can be a good fit for a student who is still kind of exploring what they're interested in, or is open-minded, or knows that they're going to do well in college. Some students might prefer to know for sure that they're accepted into that college major before going into that college. So for example, if a student wants to become a nurse, they might want to pursue a direct admit program, and that's where the student applies while they're a senior in college, a senior in high school, and then they mark on their college application they want to go into nursing. Some programs, such as nursing, want students to declare that by the end of their sophomore year, and so that would be a different kind of route into getting into their nursing program. They're going to do pre-nursing for their first 2 years, and then at the end of their sophomore year, based on how they did for the first 2 years, then they'll be accepted into that major. So it kind of varies by college major as well as each college. For a student, one of those might sound more attractive than the other, and so they would want to talk with the colleges and figure out what their timeline is based on different types of majors. I do have some tips for students who are exploring college majors. If you have an idea of what you want to major in, I would look up the college that you're considering, or just really any college, and the name of the major to see what type of classes that entails. So here on the screen, you can see an example of creative media and entertainment, the major and the classes you would take if you went to Butler University. So you would read through those courses and then think to yourself, are these classes that I'm excited to take? Does this sound like something I would want to pursue further? You can see how many classes are listed here, so it's quite a few. And so some students might read through this and be like, yeah, I can't wait to take these classes. And other times you might read through them and think, oh, this is not what I want to do. So I would start by looking at a college and the major specifically and seeing if that's something that you want to pursue or not. And then often you can also look up the course catalog in a college and read a few sentences about the classes specifically. And then again, the admissions professionals who work at these colleges will be able to talk to you about them more. So I would ask them as well if you have more questions as you're trying to explore which college major is the best fit for you. All right, so we talked about what is a college major, when I declare my major, how I select it, and now you might be thinking, okay, but what should I major in? I got 2 ideas here. One, if you have an idea of some careers you're interested in, I'd go to a website like careeronestop.org and search the name of the careers you're interested in. They have short videos to learn about the careers, an outlook, all kinds of good info. Read through this career profile page, and then you'll see where it says related programs. These programs are names of college majors that you would typically study. So I'd start there and get an idea of what majors are related to what careers you're interested in. Other things you can do is search College Board, which is a college exploration website that's very reputable, and then the name of the major, learn a little bit more about it, look at a college website and the majors there. If you like what you're reading, that might be indicative of a potential college major. That's a good fit for you. Okay, on the other side of the screen, this is what I would want all students to do as well. Create a free account and complete the assessment at mymajors.com. This is a short assessment that's going to give you ideas of majors that are a good fit for you. All the counselors here took this recently, and we all thought that the majors that were suggested for us were good fits. It's going to ask you about classes that you've taken here, and it's going to ask you to report your grades that you earned in them, and that's going to help relate to college majors. It also asks about like your interests and your personality, and it'll align all of those things. So that is my suggestion for all students to do now, is look at mymajors.com as well as Career One Stop, and then kind of reflect on what that is, what that information tells you. When you get your results on My Majors, it'll give you ideas of what the major entails as well, what related careers are on there. So I think that is such a helpful resource, and the students who've completed it with me or with us also think so. There are so many other great resources to help you decide what you should major in. So here we have an idea of some books, some assessments that students can take for free on Naviance, people to connect with, some different apps, and just additional websites. So now is the time to kind of dig in, reflect on what you're thinking about. Again, students don't have to know what they want to major in. You can certainly go in undecided and ask colleges about exploratory programs that will help you, and what will the college do to help you decide what to major in and career options. But there are a lot of resources that students should take advantage of while they're here in high school, and we are happy to help in this process. As always, please reach out to your junior senior counselor or myself if you need any help in determining your college major or with any college and career planning processes. We are more than happy to help.